My first question for you, Catherine, I'm going to start off with a very, very hard-hitting one, a very deep thinker. What was your involvement with the remake of the seminal 80s classic horror film Child's Play?
Oh my God. That is hard hitting indeed. You did a deep dive on me. I see. It's I was a unit publicist on that movie as well as the field producer. I created a lot of like video content. This might be fun for you to hear, but I did a photo shoot with Chucky inside of a storage locker.
Awesome.
It's not sketchy at all. I hung out with Chucky a lot on set, and people started rumors, I think, because they're like, I think they were like saying that I had a crush on him, and I deny that completely, but he did grow on me. I think I'm not a horror film fan at all, and I didn't want to do it, and people convinced me. Yeah, because they said it would be really fun to work on a horror film. Like, horror films are fun. And I read the script, and the script was quite good. And then the cast was really good. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Wow. So why were you trepidatious to work on a horror film?
I don't really watch them. So I like thrillers, but I don't like horror films very much. Although there are some things in the horror that might be classified in the horror genre, and people, like, I don't consider it. Like, for example, I really liked Hannibal, which was a TV series.
Yep.
And I guess it has like all these gruesome things in it, but I thought they were just incredibly artistic, although I definitely had some vivid dreams as a result that were probably not very healthy. But I really loved that show, and I just didn't I considered it far more psychological than I did, straight horror. Yeah.
So was it a fun project? Did it end up being a fun project to work on?
I think it was for me because I really liked the cast and the crew, most of them. Yeah. And there were some people who liked to yell. I didn't particularly enjoy those people. Yeah. But the cast was all into pranks. Yeah. And they were really, especially Aubrey Plaza and oh my gosh, what was the name of the lead kid? I shouldn't call him kid, but
it's okay if you don't remember his name. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, he'll never forgive me, but yeah, he's a sassy individual. Yeah, but so they like to play pranks on each other all the time, and so it was really fun to see that. And then when I met Brian Tyree Henry, I thought he seemed really keen on he was a huge fan of Chucky, and also he seemed very keen on pranks. And what I found these books. And I would sign them with creepy notes and leave them near in his trailer, but I'd get other people to go in so I could have plausible deniability. Because when you go, Katherine, have you been in my trailer? I'd say no, and it was the truth.
Right.
And
okay.
So I would regularly leave him books, and then at one point he goes, Katherine, this is I'm getting a library in my trailer. You need to talk to the construction crew and tell them to build me like a bookshelf. Okay. He's very serious and intense. It's hard sometimes to tell if he's kidding or not. But anyways,
are you talking about the lead, the lead from?
No, he was Brian Tyree Henry he played the detective.
Okay. Yep, I know what you're talking about. Yep. Yeah. Yep, Brian. Yep.
Yeah. And so I made a bookshelf. A board box, and I wrote Brian's bookshelf / handmade on it. And it's just as I was like running away from his trailer, I see him coming down. So I hid in between two cars, and he gets to the trailer and he just bursts out laughing. Katherine. So yeah, that was one of many pranks played. Some of them had gone very wrong as well. We won't talk about those.
Okay, right on. Josh Randall disavows. Thank you for. I noticed you just signed up for a membership. Thank you for that. And Yeah, I think we're caught up on the chat. Definitely some Child's Play fans in the chat. I'm a fan. I'm actually quite a fan of the original, and I watched the remake last year. I streamed it or rented it or something. I actually quite enjoyed it, and I thought I really enjoyed just how ridiculous the plot evolved. Like towards the end, it just crescendoed to this totally absurd kind of peak in this toy store, and I love that. Yeah,
he was quite. I mean, Chucky was kind of likable. I thought. I liked where they were going with the plot. I thought that we had some interesting takes. I mean, to watch some of this gruesome stuff, like the blood being poured, or like I don't know if it's a spoiler. I mean, it is a spoiler.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's say there's a decapitated body part in the movie.
Yes,
that's a large. I mean, seeing that in person is really different than I think it would be to see it on the screen. It's more curious. Like you want to go close and check it out. You know?
Yeah.
And there were like 7 Chucky dolls too. That I think we had like 7 puppets. The puppeteers were awesome too. I mean, it was really interesting and really fun to sort of see how that all comes together. And I think sometimes these things help you get over your fears as well. Because if you're seeing, I remember I was interviewing a filmmaker who made Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yes, I remember that film. Yep.
Yeah, and that's like super violent, right? And I talked to the guy, and turns out he said that he's scared of blood, or even like when people stick a needle in his hand, right? Like he's terrified of that.
Wow.
But for him, it's the over the topness of it is really different. It's like Quentin Tarantino's movies, right? Like they're very enjoyable for me, given the violence and everything, because it's so over the top. Like you don't take it seriously. It's like a dream.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. Because I love horror films, but only certain kind of horror films. I like ones that are almost camp horror, and those are the ones I'm most drawn to, the kind of ones that have a sense of camp to them and over the topness to them, like you describe. I can't say I can watch films like The Exorcist and find it truly, as for as well done of a film as something like that is, I can't say that's an enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah, and I think horror films, I mean, I when I was in university, I read about horror films in a kind of an academic way. Yeah. And what was interesting is like it was such a the people who really embrace horror films, and it took a while before it became like mainstream. I think Silence of the Lambs was, the fact that it was recognized with like an Oscar, that was a huge deal, because it was so fringe. But also the people who loved horror films, if a lot of the audiences, at least that used to be the case, were people who did consider themselves as outsiders, which I thought was quite interesting.